a commercial flight carrying 239 people vanished from radar and was never seen again. No distress call, no warning, no confirmed crash site, just silence. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, heading toward Beijing, on what was supposed to be a routine overnight journey. Everything about the flight seemed normal. The weather was clear, the aircraft had no reported issues, and the crew had performed this route many times before. On board were 239 people, including passengers and crew members, all expecting to arrive safely within a few hours. At 1:19 a.m., the co-pilot made the final radio transmission. "Good night. Malaysian 370. It was a standard sign-off. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. But just minutes later, the aircraft disappeared from civilian radar. Its transponder, the system used to identify the aircraft's position, had been switched off. No distress signal was sent. No emergency was declared. It simply vanished. At first, this might have suggested a sudden catastrophic failure, but what investigators later discovered painted a far more unsettling picture. Military radar data revealed that the aircraft had not crashed at all. Instead, it had turned around. Rather than continuing toward Beijing, MH370 made a sharp and deliberate deviation, flying back across the Malaysian peninsula and continuing westward. This was not a random movement. The aircraft appeared to follow established flight paths, navigating through controlled airspace as if someone in control knew exactly what they were doing. It passed through multiple radar zones without interception before disappearing again, this time completely. However, even after vanishing from radar, the aircraft was not entirely silent. For several hours, it continued to exchange automated signals with a satellite system operated by Inmarsat. These signals, often referred to as pings, did not provide an exact location, but they did offer something crucial: distance. By analyzing the timing of these signals, investigators were able to calculate a series of possible positions, forming a massive arc stretching across the globe. One possible route extended north into Central Asia, while the other stretched deep into the southern Indian Ocean. Based on additional data, including the characteristics of the signals and the aircraft's likely speed, investigators concluded that the plane had most likely flown south into one of the most remote and inhospitable regions on Earth. This final path became known as the Seventh Arc. Somewhere along that arc, it is believed that MH370 ended its journey. What followed was one of the largest and most expensive search operations in aviation history. Dozens of ships, aircraft, and international teams were deployed to search an enormous expanse of ocean. At its peak, the search area covered more than 120,000 square kilometers. But the Indian Ocean is vast and unforgiving. In many places, the depth reaches several thousand meters, with rugged underwater terrain that makes detection extremely difficult. Despite years of searching, no main wreckage was ever found. The ocean had effectively swallowed the aircraft whole. Then, in July 2015, more than a year after the disappearance, the first confirmed piece of debris was discovered on Reunion Island, located in the western Indian Ocean. It was identified as a flaperon, a component from the wing of a Boeing 777, and it was confirmed to belong to MH370. Over time, additional fragments were found along coastlines in places like Mozambique, Madagascar, and Tanzania. These discoveries confirmed that the aircraft had indeed crashed into the ocean, but they did little to explain how or why it happened. As the years passed, several theories began to emerge. One of the most widely discussed is that the pilot deliberately diverted the aircraft. The precision of the turn combined with the manual shutdown of communication systems suggests human intervention. Some believe this could have been an intentional act, but no clear motive has ever been established, and investigators have not found definitive evidence to support this claim. Another possibility is that the aircraft was hijacked, but no group has ever claimed responsibility and no demands were made. In cases of hijacking, that level of silence is highly unusual. There is also the theory of a catastrophic onboard event, such as a fire or sudden loss of cabin pressure, which could have incapacitated the crew and passengers. In this scenario, the aircraft would have continued flying on autopilot for hours before eventually running out of fuel and crashing into the ocean. While this explanation accounts for the long, silent flight, it does not fully explain the deliberate course change observed early in the incident. More controversial theories suggest the possibility of a military incident or even a large-scale cover-up. But these claims remain speculative and unsupported by credible evidence. After years of investigation, millions of dollars spent, and countless hours of analysis, the truth remains unknown. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. Disappearance is still one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. The aircraft has never been fully recovered, and the exact sequence of events that led to its disappearance may never be known. 239 people simply vanished, leaving behind only fragments, unanswered questions, and a mystery that continues to haunt the world. Somewhere in the vast emptiness of the ocean, the answer may still exist, waiting to be found, or perhaps lost forever.